All right, let's get right into it. Today we're tackling a topic that is set to completely flip software development on its head: agentic software engineering. And we're not just talking about AI tools that help you write code. No, we're talking about a future where your AI teammates are basically your colleagues. So what does that actually look like? Let's find out. Okay, so the paper we're digging into today kicks things off with this absolute bombshell of a claim. Get this: developers achieving 100x, maybe even 1,000 times their current productivity. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. 1,000 times. We're not talking about just coding a little bit faster here. This is a total game changer. But, whenever you see a number that big, there's always one question that immediately comes to mind.
Yep, exactly. What is the catch? Because let's be real, right now the day-to-day reality of working with these AI coding agents can be, well, it's a mess. It's chaotic. There's this huge gap between how incredibly fast these things can generate code and how much we can actually, trust what they spit out.
So, let's break down this chaos. Here's the core problem. You've got these agents, think Devin, Claude, you name it, and they are just workhorses. They can fire off pull requests faster than you can blink. But here's the kicker. A massive chunk of that code is just not right. It's full of these sneaky little bugs. It totally ignores the way your team does things, or it's just a Band-Aid fix. And what happens? You, the human developer, get completely swamped, basically drowning in an endless ocean of code reviews for stuff that's not even close to being ready.
And this chart right here, it just nails the problem perfectly. Look at that bar for agent speed. It's through the roof. But then you look over at code trustworthiness, and it's way, way down here. This massive gap between speed and trust, that is the single biggest headache the entire software world is dealing with right now. It's like the agents are driving Ferraris, but the review process is a one-lane road, creating the mother of all traffic jams.
Okay, so if we're going to figure out the solution, we kind of have to zoom out and see how we even got into this mess in the first place. And it turns out the whole story of AI and software engineering is a lot like the story of self-driving cars. There are these clear levels of what they can do, and figuring out which level we're on right now is, well, it's everything.
So let's break down these levels, using that self-driving car analogy. We all started at level 0, right? Just us, our keyboard, pure manual coding. No help at all. Now, most of us are probably sitting at level 2, the AI augmented world. This is your GitHub Copilot. It's kind of like cruise control, super helpful, but you'd better keep your hands on the wheel. But the whole industry is now tipping into level 3, goal agentic. This is where you can just give an agent a high-level goal and it figures out the steps. And guess what? This is exactly where all that chaos is coming from. The dream, of course, is level 4 and level 5, full-on autonomy, the true self-driving car of code. But to get there, we absolutely have to tame the beast that is level 3.
And this brings us to the single biggest idea in this whole paper. The answer isn't to just build a smarter, faster agent. That's not going to work. The chaos we're seeing isn't an agent problem, it's a systems problem. We've been trying to fit this new technology into our old ways of working. What we really need is a brand new playbook, a whole new discipline for how humans and AIs work together. And that's where something called Structured Agentic Software Engineering, or SASE, comes in. So, what is this SASE framework? Well, it starts by bringing some much-needed order to the chaos. And it does that by recognizing a simple fact. We're now building software for two completely different audiences. Us, the humans, and them, the agents. And that means we need to think about our workbenches in a totally new way. And this is where it gets really interesting. The framework splits everything in two. On one side, you've got software engineering for humans. Our job totally changes. We stop being just coders and start becoming an agent coach, focusing on the big picture, the strategy. Then, on the other side, there's software engineering for agents. And that's all about building a clean, structured, predictable playground for the AIs to do their best work. An environment built for machines, not for us.
So how does this actually work in practice? With two separate workbenches. For us humans, we get what's called the Agent Command Environment, or ACE. Just think of it like your mission control center, where you direct all the agents. And the agents, they get their own space, the Agent Execution Environment, or AEE. This is like their own pristine digital workshop, perfectly optimized for them to work at machine speed without any of our clunky human tools getting in the way.
All right, now we're getting into the real nuts and bolts. To make a system like this actually function, you can't just throw informal prompts into a chat window anymore. That's out. Instead, we get a whole new set of formal, version-controlled documents, they call them artifacts, that basically structure the entire conversation between you and the agent. So let's run through this new playbook, this glossary of terms.
First up, the briefing script. Think of this as the official work order, so no more just copying and pasting a Jira ticket and praying the AI gets it. A briefing script is like what a good senior dev would give to a junior dev, a detailed, thought-out plan. It spells out the what, the why, the success criteria, and even gives hints about potential traps to avoid. It is literally the mission plan.
Okay, next on our list is the loop script. This is basically the agent's standard operating procedure for a given task. It's so cool because it lets you, the human coach, decide exactly how much leash to give the agent. So for a really simple bug fix, sure, let it run wild, full autonomy. But for something super critical, like a security patch, no way. You can use the loop script to enforce a super strict, multi-step process with human checks at every stage. You are in complete control of how carefully it works.
And last but definitely not least, we have the mentor script. This idea is just brilliant. It's the team rulebook. Imagine taking all that tribal knowledge, all those unwritten rules, best practices, and coding styles that only live in your senior devs' heads and putting it into a version-controlled file. It becomes a living employee handbook for your AI teammates. This is mentorship as code, and it ensures every single thing they produce is up to your team's standard.
So with all this incredible structure up front, the briefing script, the loop script, the mentor script, it only makes sense that the final product has to be a lot more rigorous too. The agent can't just toss a pull request over the wall and call it a day. So what does done actually look like in this new world? It delivers something called a Merge-Readiness Pack, or an MRP. Now this is way more than just a pile of code. It's an entire bundle of evidence designed from the ground up to build trust. It has to prove things like, yes, it did sound verification and the tests are solid. It has to provide a clear rationale, explaining the why behind its decisions. It basically transforms a chaotic, subjective code review into a structured, fact-based audit. It's a game changer for reviews.
Okay, quick aside. If all this talk about structure, clear documentation, and making sense of the chaos is really speaking to you, well, you might just be a VibeDoc subscriber waiting to happen. We're all about that structured vibe here, so go on, hit subscribe. We don't do chaos on this channel. All right, shameless plug complete. Now, let's get to the big finale. What does all of this mean for your job?
So, let's bring it all home. What does this future really mean for you, the software engineer sitting at your desk right now? Honestly, this is the most critical part of this entire breakdown, because we're not just talking about some new tools or a different workflow. We're talking about your entire job being redefined from the ground up. See, your main job is no longer going to be about hammering out lines of code. Instead, you become the conductor of a symphony of AI agents. You are the strategist. You are the architect. You're the mentor. You're the one orchestrating all of these powerful systems to create something amazing. Your value completely shifts away from implementation and towards intent.
And please hear this part loud and clear, because it's the most important takeaway from all of this. The human is not being automated away. Far from it. The role is being elevated. The skills that are about to become incredibly valuable are things like big picture systems thinking, the ability to write a crystal clear spec, and the art of being a great mentor. The engineers who thrive in this new world will be the ones who master working with agents, not competing against them. Which all leads to this final, powerful question that the paper leaves us with. It's a question that should make every one of us stop and think about the future of our entire industry. Are we, right now, training the next generation of coders who will probably find themselves competing directly with AI? Or are we training the next generation of conductors who will be the ones to lead them? That's something to really chew on. Thanks so much for joining me.